Here we have my newest project. It's a mini bench lathe. It's a Swedish Åsbrink. It's a copy of the South Bend 9. Bought it a little while ago. Now we're gonna start doing a little bit of touch-up jobs and putting it back together. You see here the previous owner started some painting and has done a really nice job on that. And they also included the paint, you got it there. So it's a nice original green. I believe this is what is South Bend A. It has no crossfeed and change gears for threading. And it had very little gears with it when I bought it. And I know I was gonna do quite a bit of threading with this machine. So I did some research and found out that the gearbox from the Heavy 10 would fit this lathe. So I went ahead and bought one. The only problem is this is the gearbox, although it's a wide range gearbox. You can see this, but by the 7 holes here instead of 5. But it also is a gearbox from a 10R and not the 10LK. So it's gonna need some modification to fit. If it actually will fit, I don't know yet. We're gonna start with that and measure and see what we find out. And I also wanted the crossfeed, so I got ahead and oh, I forgot the name for this little one. No, what? Apron maybe? Nah. So we're gonna do this as well and touch up and restore it a little bit. So here it is, the start of the new project. Okay, so I got some parts up on the bench here and started on. I got some measurements, and what I wanted to check first of all was that the distance between the surface under here and the center to the lead screw matched up with the gearbox. Because if that wasn't a match, then it was no point in going on to try to fix this. But it is correct, so I can probably use this Heavy 10R gearbox for my project. But another difference is I got another lead screw. This is the original one, and it has no slot in it for the crossfeed like this one I got for. This is for a South Bend 9, and this slot drives the crossfeed. But however, of course, if you see this, there's a different key. This key is a lot wider than the original key on the lathe. So I had to modify the gear, the input, the lead screw gear that fits here, because that had the smaller style key. So I had to widen that. So I just started that. Let me take you over to another lathe I have in the workshop. I set this up. Let me see if you can. Oh wait, I've already started here. Hopefully you can see that it matches now. What I did was, yeah, this is a piece of rebar I just used. And I welded a piece of high-speed steel to this and grinded it down to match the key. And then you just set the depth of your cut there. Let's take 1/10 maybe. Then you just start turning. The tool I made actually flexes a bit, so you have to do it a couple of times. Yeah, that's more than enough. Then you just take another cut and another cut and another cut And finally you end up with a new key. I also have to do the same for the input gear for the gearbox, as it also has a larger key. But I can show you that later when I have my tripod. You have to put up with some dodgy camera work until this. So the gearbox will fit under here. So this is where you would have your gear if you have change gears. And that actually will fit here now. And you can see this is also the wider style key. So we'll have to do this gear as well. But here's the key that I just made on another lathe. And that's gonna fit to the lead screw, which will sit here in the gearbox. So hopefully this will match up. Let's see if it fits. Success. New key. There you have it. That's gonna be your input gear for the gearbox. We're gonna try it out and see if it fits. So here we have our input gear for the gearbox, the new keyway we just cut. You can compare this to, this is the spacer from the original lead screw. You see the difference in the keys there. And also the diameter is slightly larger, so I had to bore this one out as well. So let's see if it fits. Yeah, sure does. That's a nice tight fit. So that's our two gears for the gearbox done. Another thing I want to show you, the high-speed steel I used for making this tool is actually from a drill bit. Cut it off. Don't use this. This is a piece of, cheap stuff. And when I first tried it, it just didn't work. The high-speed steel was much too soft, perhaps from welding, but I don't think so, because it really wasn't that hot. So I had to quench this again in oil. First turn it hot red and dip in it oil. And that actually worked, so I could cut my keys. So buy quality, it's always better.